Alafia. I'm Philip John Nymark, the founder of IFA Foundations in North and Latin America. And the following piece was produced to try and encourage, help, explain, illuminate many of the initiates of the IFA Foundation who become IFA priests and diviners, how they can improve themselves, their results, and the results for their clients. In other words, how to become a really fine diviner. And that is done in a very real sense by immersing yourself with the energies that the divination produces. So I thought that this might be an interesting example or observation for you, the non-diviners, to see how the process works and hopefully to help you in the process of choosing somebody who has evolved to a level which makes the divination even more relevant. Enjoy. Several people, predominantly I will give credit or blame, as the case may be, to Sergio, who have continued to work with me in the process of growing as an IFA diviner. People who have gone far beyond the mechanical understanding of it and are beginning other areas of growth in their life, have been asking me specifically what I meant by a comment that I forwarded back to them. That comment was the diviner's goal is to become one with the Odu, meaning that the Odu is not something you just see out here or think about here, but you think about it in relationship to having it in here. And I've been prodded for further explanation about exactly what I meant by that, and also about how you do it, exactly how you do it. Well, to be specific, or perhaps more specific, what I meant is that most people upon initiation view divination in a very Western way, in a very Cartesian way. They view it as an ability suddenly to have a consultation, as it were, with an expert in the field, and that expert happens to be a Rumula, and they can proffer their questions, and they can receive their answers, and they can go on with the necessary instructions or prescriptions, much as if they had visited a doctor for a cough or had visited a lawyer to draw up a will. And that is in itself, of course, seductive because, one, it tends to be pretty damn accurate, but two, it fits neatly and without any conflicts or necessity of re-examination into the Western paradigm that we, live in this ability to address a thing and not see it in its total context. And it also plays to the worst part of us, which is that short-term gratification, because it allows us to deal with these things and yet not, for the most part, learn very much from them. So that process, which is inherent in new initiates, and is one which those that work with me on the internet, who send me their readings and who will pay attention to, or who even argue with me regarding some of my observations or critiques, get through after a period of time. There's, of course, a whole other group that says, this is it. I have the, the magic 8 ball now, and I shake it up, and I'll see where we're going. And I don't need any more. It's their call. I mean, you can't make somebody a diviner. You cannot turn somebody into a spiritual human being. You cannot artificially graft meaningful energy connections into the proper places on an individual's matrix. All of this happens as a result of the process of continuing growth, the process of continuing to not only deal with or actuate these individual readings, but to begin to mull over them, to begin to really examine where those energies came into play, how they affected the individual, your own life or your own work, why they appeared, because it's not some kind of universal wheel of fortune where the universe says, okay, let's spin the wheel and let's teach you about such and such this week. The universe brings you energies that you are going to have to use or confront during the coming week. And if all you do is the bow, meaning if all you do is take the penicillin or the Z-Pack for your cough, or all you do is sign the papers that the attorney drew up without reading them and trying to understand the implications of who you're leaving your money or who you're leaving your life's work to, then that's pretty much all you're going to get. So it requires that process, and that's just the beginning of peeking through that door, because as this happens, as over a period of time, and that period is years, and very few of you want to confront the reality that this isn't some magic thing that poof, you're going to be a great Ifa priest. The reality is that great Ifa priests are the result of years and years and decades of hard work and inclusion of that work into their individual matrix. And the end point, in a sense, is that when you cast an Odu, when you see an energy, that energy relates not simply to the temporal issues of what's going on, is it destiny, is it health, is it, but relates in a much more definitive way to an understanding of your place in this labyrinth of the road towards your destiny, and relates to energies in here, not simply in here. Energies that have explored, experienced, ruminated, analyzed, felt, in 1,000 different situations, in 1,000 different times, so that their possible permutations, their possible nuances, are there. You got them. They're instinctive. And when you get to that point, if you're willing to work towards that point, then you really, can be at least content and assured and have the certainty that the work that you do will produce the results that you expect it to. But it doesn't happen with the snap of a finger. It doesn't happen, by the way, by obtaining a new tool. A new tool allows you often to accelerate that process because it makes certain connections more precise. It makes them easier for you to establish, but you still have to do the work. The tool doesn't do the work for you. The Odu doesn't do the work. The Odu simply tells you what the work is that needs doing. And to the extent it remains a self-contained, disembodied, separate experience from yourself, lives will get better. But to the extent that it begins to integrate into part of your inherent energy matrix, lives get fabulous. Let me know what you think. Till next time, love and blessings.